Welcome to Parsha Hashavua with Rabbi Garari. This week's Parsha is Parsha Ki Seitzei, an action-packed Parsha with so many different mitzvahs, including mitzvahs to do with war, mitzvahs to do with the wayward, rebellious son, tzitzis, marriage, divorce, all kinds of things. And of course, we have been saying that the parshas that we read in this month all have to do with Elul and preparation for the new year. And in Parsha Ki Seitzei, the beginning is very obvious. I think we mentioned something similar last week. The Chumash begins with Ki Seitzei la milchama al oivecha. When you go out to war upon your enemies. And the language is somewhat strange because it says, it should say Ki Seitzei la milchama, go out to war im oivecha, with your enemies. But over here it says Ki Seitzei la milchama al oivecha, when you go out to war on your enemies. And the Lubavitcher Rebbe explains many times that this idea is to teach us that Ki Seitzei la milchama, we go out to the war, the spiritual war, the war between the Yetzer Tov and the Yetzer Hara, the animal soul and the godly soul. And we're afraid and we think it's overwhelming. We need to know Ki Seitzei, as long as we go out with confidence and we begin and understand that we need to fight the war, we need to subdue, so to speak, the animal soul, the Yetzer Hara, and put it under the dominance of the godly soul. If you're ready to do that and you're committed, you need to know right from the outset, al oivecha, you are on top of your enemies. You will be victorious. You have already won the war. You just need to believe that you can, and believe that Hashem will give us the koyach to do that. So that's something that is very obvious right from the beginning of the parsha. But I want to also talk about the end of the parsha. The end of the parsha is the mitzvah of remembering what Amalek did to the Jewish people, and the mitzvah of erasing and eradicating the nation of Amalek. Now, of course, we know that's a thing we read around Purim time. That's very much to do with Purim. There's Purim story, the Amalek. But nevertheless, it's in this week's parsha. And at the end of the paragraph, the beginning starts, Zochar siyam asher asa lecha Amalek. Remember what Amalek did to you when you came out of Mitzrayim. And then it says at the end, Timche es zecher Amalek, erase the memory of Amalek, mitachas hashamayim, under the heaven. And then, lo tishkach, you shouldn't forget, and so on. So the question here is, what does it mean, mitachas hashamayim, under the heaven? Of course, what else? Where else is Amalek? On top of the heaven? What does that mean? So I'm going to share with you a piece from the Story Alafim I've quoted before. He says the following. He says, the Gemara tells us that Rava, and this is in Gemara Shabbos, Lamed Aleph, the Gemara says, Omar Rava says the following. B'shosha machnisim odom ledim, when a person after 120 enters into judgment, they ask him the following questions. The first question that a person is asked is, Nosato v'nosato be'emuna, which literally means, did you buy and sell? Did you give and take? Did you do business faithfully? Second one is, Kovato itim la Torah, did you set aside time to learn Torah? And the first to ask the question, why would they be asked first about business and only asked about emunah? About Torah, Shouldn't the first question be, did you learn Torah? Did you set aside time to learn Torah? Did you connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu? And then, only after that, person has to leave the Beis Medrash and do business in order to learn a living. The question should be, did you do business faithfully? And the Sfarim answer, he says, that the question is different. It's not about business. It's about, did you discuss, did you give and take, did you internalize the concept of emunah? Did you permeate your heart, did you instill in your heart and the hearts of your family emunah, faith in Hashem? And this is specifically asked before, did you set aside time to learn Torah? Because emunah in Hashem comes before learning Torah. We see the Ten Commandments, the Aseret Dibra, start with the word, Anochi Hashem Elokecha, I am Hashem. You got to believe before you can accept the Torah. If there's no emunah, then the Torah remains just an academic subject and doesn't really connect us with Hashem. Emunah is a prerequisite to learning Torah properly. We find when Hashem gave the Torah, after Yetzias Mitzrayim, first there was Yetzias Mitzrayim, so first there was coming out of Mitzrayim, and only then was Shavuos later when the Torah was given. Why? Because first the Yidden had to be permeated with Emunah. through the going out of Mitzrayim, through the amazing miracles they saw, through the whole revelation of Hashem that they saw while going out of Mitzrayim. That had to be the first thing. They had to really believe and see Hashem's hand in action. And only then could they come to Matan Torah and receive the Torah and learn the Torah and be makabel the Torah. So he says, as we prepare for a new year, the same thing has to happen. What is Elul about? Elul coming up to the year where we're going to commit to Hashem to learn Torah, to keep His mitzvahs and so on. We have to first build up our emunah. We have to, Elul is like we're preparing for the very beginning of a new journey, a fresh journey. And we have to be able to answer that question. Have we instilled in ourselves proper emunah in Hashem? Which even comes before the question of we set aside time to learn Torah. And that is why in one of the Parshas, in Parsha Ki Seitzei that we read during Elul, always we read during Elul, it ends with the Milchama of Amalek. Why? With the Svarim explained to us, what was Amalek? Amalek didn't care if we learn or even if we fulfill the Torah, as long as the Torah remained under the heaven, Tachas HaShamayim, which means that as long as the Torah is disconnected from Hashem, as long as learning Torah has nothing to do with becoming completely one with Hashem, that's fine. You want to learn an academic subject, you want to do a couple of symbols, you want to do mitzvahs, no problem. But as long as it remains mitachas hashamayim, which is why the Torah says, mochai timche, you got to timche ezecher Amalek, erase the memory of Amalek, mitachas hashamayim. Take away this whole concept that the Torah is mitachas hashamayim, because it isn't. Torah is connected upon the heaven. Torah is connected with Hashem. It's a noisin Torah. It's the Torah of Hashem. It's a divine wisdom. It's a divine gift. And that's why we have to go through that as we reflect on the year by. We have to remember, not just do we learn Torah, we have to remember, do we have emunah before learning Torah? How much emunah do we have? We have to take away the Amalek mitachas hashamayim. Amalek wanted to take the Torah and bring it under the heaven. That's got nothing to do with Hashem, no. That's why I wanted to cool off our emunah, as it says in the pasuk, Asher korcho baderech. They met you in the way, which korch also means karirus, cold. They made it cold, without passion, without emunah, without being passionate about connecting with Hashem. That's okay. Then you can learn Torah, and that's why we know we erase Amalek before it comes. That he says also one of the famous acronyms of Elul. Elul is Ani L'Doidi V'Doidi Li. Ani L'Doidi means, first I am to Hashem, I believe in Hashem, I'm connected to Hashem. Once I'm connected to Hashem and I have emunah, then V'Doidi Li, then Hashem can talk to me and teach me and give me the Torah. And that's why the first question is Nosato be'emunah, and only then Kovato itim la Torah. So we have to spend that's why in Elul we spend extra time davening. The Birkei Yosef says we focus on what it means to be a Yid, and we build up our emunah so that after we can really commit to Hashem, we can really learn Torah properly with a real kedusha, with real holiness. And that's the Ani L'Doidi and then V'Doidi Li, which brings about the Geula and it brings about the Ksiva V'Chasima Tova for the new year. Have a wonderful day and a good Shabbos.